back to the On the Slab Horror Show, the show that we bring to you each and every Friday night. Why do we do this on a Friday night? As the lads aren't here, I'll do it myself. We do this on a Friday night because Friday night is horror night. And for my guest here that mightn't know or you might have heard on previous episodes, Friday night was the night that we used to get our old school horrors on free to air TV. After what we'd have as the watershed, 10 o'clock at night, used to be horror night. It's where I got a lot of the classics in. First horror
Oh,
movie ever, Nightmare on Elm Street, free to air TV. Can't beat it. So
I
we
love
kept
that.
it to this. That's why the show's released at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. But tonight joining me is probably one of the last, maybe, maybe one of the last Mutilator 2 cast that we're gonna have on. Mr. Eric Six, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Good to have you on. Thanks for taking the time out to come on.
Well, thanks for having me. It's such an honor. I've watched the previous episodes. This is going to be fun. I can tell. I love how you guys do the interview. So yeah.
We like to keep it easy and free flowing. That's usually when the best conversation comes. When you have scripted stuff, it's great. You get some information, but most of it's going to be the same. This one, you never know where it's going to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we have interviews that have gone out and they've just been completely random.
Oh, that's awesome. I love
So
random. That's how I am.
yeah, now that better be straight vodka, not water.
It is water. I'm sorry. It's a little early over here. Maybe later tonight.
What is it? It's yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it
Still-
is. Yes,
it's still daytime for you.
it is. I usually don't start that until nighttime when the sun goes down.
So it's not a respectable drinking hour.
Right. Yes. No, not at all.
Well, I'm sure it's beer o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 5 o'clock is when you start. I mean, the saying is what, 5 o'clock somewhere. So technically, I guess I could start.
Yeah. Well, it's beer o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's always beer o'clock. Heck yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in acting and whatnot. Tell us all things, Eric.
Cool. So yeah, so it's really funny. Horror movies are actually what got me started into acting. The first ever horror film I saw was Scream from 1996, of course. And yes, absolutely. And that at the end of the VHS, that's how I watched it. It had the B-roll footage of like Scream 1 through 3. I would watch that, and
Nice.
yeah, yeah, that's what I would watch. I One night I kept it going through all the credits, and I watched that, and I looked at the screen, and I said, "That's what I want to do. I want to do what they're doing." So throughout high school, I did all my musical productions because that was the only thing that was offered as acting. And then through that, I signed with my first agency. And then when I graduated high school, I went out to LA for a year at a performing arts school. I didn't like their program so much, so I came back to Ohio and I started out as an extra, and then I worked my way up to featured roles. So yeah,
Started from the bottom right to the top.
the very bottom, yes, the
I
very
mean,
bottom.
so that would tell you your age is a lot younger than me if Scream was your first horror to see.
What was your first? I'm curious.
My first was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, that's right. Oh, cool.
Well,
I love Nightmare on Elm
uh,
Street.
it might not have been, but it's the first one that I really remember. I remember seeing that it was on, and I used to sleep in the attic in my man Lad's house, and they were in bed, and I snuck down the stairs and watched it. Now I remember missing. Well, I think I remember missing the start of it, and I came in with the scene where he's in the alleyway, or the first scene I
Yeah.
really remember where his arms stretch out,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and I was just like, God damn,
yeah. It
God damn.
That film still holds up today. Even sometimes I'm watching it by myself. It is so eerie if you think it's just eerie how Robert Englund, like, just his mannerisms with that character. He did a phenomenal job.
But again, then you have obviously the Wes Craven connection. So you said your first was Scream.
Yes, yes.
I mean, you're talking about him, probably, in my opinion, the second best horror director.
Oh, oh yeah. He's I consider him the first. I know that. Well, I guess
I
um,
did for a long time as well until I actually sat down and watched the body of work of John Carpenter.
that's true too. He is the
But
he. Oh,
you can
sorry.
see where people would have one or the other.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess Halloween did start kind of the whole slasher genre. So John Carpenter,
yeah.
I guess, of course, should be. Yeah, I
Well,
understand that. Yeah.
as I says, you've got Carpenter, you have Halloween, you've got The Thing. Theoretically, I don't consider it really a horror, but they live far ahead of its time. Uh, Prince of Darkness, things like that, they were phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, obviously, Craven had People Under the Stairs, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. Like, Scream really changed everything.
Oh yeah. It's still. I mean, it's still prominent. I think all horror movies coming out are trying to be as meta as possible, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. But like, when you look at what Scream done, like bringing the big name and Drew Barrymore in, and the ultimate swerve, but people are like, oh yeah, but he killed off the person you thought was going to be the main person. That's not the first time he's done it. He done it in
Mm-mm.
Nightmare on Elm Street with Tina. He
Yeah.
has her as the opening scene, and she gets killed off in probably one of the most famous kill scenes in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wes
I mean,
Craven definitely had like his own way of setting up the film. But yeah.
but for me, he I'd always maintain that he saved slashers really in the 80s when he brought out Nightmare on Elm Street, because up until then you had the slow moving methodical slashers. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone loves Michael Myers. For me, up until 2018, the franchise was nothing for me. I loved the first one, but everything else I was kind of like, all right. Apart from three, three was phenomenal.
Yeah, I see when I was younger, I didn't like three because of course Michael Myers wasn't in it. And I
Yeah,
was too young to understand filmmaking and art being artsy. And then now I come to love it. Like I watch it every Halloween, just something fresh, something new.
it's so different that
Yeah.
I can understand why people hated it.
Yeah,
But if that didn't have the name Halloween, you'd sit there going, well, that was awesome.
exactly.
Like, I don't know if you've seen some of the back catalogue where I've actually brought up my Scream story. Have you ever heard it? No.
No, huh? No.
So, remember when lockdown started in 2021,
Hmm.
2020, right? I was sitting there and obviously everyone was watching movies and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and rewatch Scream. So I was texting the lads, and I said, I'm watching Scream. Like, oh yeah, it's great, this, that, and the other. I sat there and watched it, going, yeah, I've never seen this before.
You're kidding.
I sat there and watched it, going, yeah, I've never seen this. I have no recollection of any of this, none. So,
That's so shocking. Oh my gosh.
like, I might have seen it beforehand and not remembered any of it, but when I sat and watched it in 2020, I was like, no, no idea, not a clue.
Wow.
Like, obviously I knew who the killer was because you see it everywhere that it was the ultimate first double killer really and stuff.
Yeah.
But I sat watched one, two, three, and four, and then obviously I went to see five then in the cinema last year, and now we have six coming out relatively
Yeah.
soon.
2 weeks. I got tickets to go to the fan event. I guess they're gonna give out a poster or something. I think it's in 2 weeks. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
definitely different. It's gonna be
I'll
different.
tell you. Right, I'll put it to you now before we get into your own movies.
Okay.
Who's the killer? What's the twist? I'm putting you on the spot here.
You know what? I really have a feeling they're gonna reveal one killer, which I think it's the I forget his name, the kid from Avatar, because he's whoever wears a flannel is a killer no matter what. And in every photo he's in a flannel. And then I think the second killer, which is like the decrepit mask, the one that's like very decrepit and stuff, we won't get a reveal, and that'll lead into seven. I think they're really gonna do it this time, where it's just gonna yank us through it really fast. We'll get one killer, but not the other.
Ooh. Now,
Yeah,
that's out there.
yeah,
Scream with only one killer?
yeah.
No. We
For
know that
now.
can't happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hayden Panettiere being the killer, but my outside left feel is that it's Neve Campbell
You know what? I could see that. Honestly, I could see it.
because of all the controversy over the contract and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised and out there left field, and that's it, folks. You heard it from me first. If it happens, it happens. If she turns out to be the killer,
Honestly, I think that would be awesome.
yeah,
I would, yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah. It'd be just a swerve that Craven would have done. Obviously, it's not Craven doing it, but the ultimate Craven style to do it,
That's true. Hey,
and
if they
hopefully,
do that, you need executive producer credit. I'm putting that out there.
and uh, and Courtney Cox needs to be put down out of the franchise because my God, is she an awful actress in it.
Oh no.
I
Uh,
like Courtney Cox, but the last two have just been horrendous for her.
yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah, it seems like the character of Gail has kind of gotten a little stale. I don't know. She's not as spunky, especially in
Yeah,
this last one. I was really let down with her character development, which it could have been the writing. I don't know what was going on.
I thought they made the wrong choice. Now I'd heard the choice between her and Dewey was who was meant to go, and I think Dewey reinvented himself in all of them.
He
Obviously, the
did.
first one we had kind of the spunky cop. The second one where he was kind of more disabled in a way with his arm and his hand and stuff. And then the third one he comes back to being himself again. The fourth one then it was just yeah. And then five obviously the ending for him was very good.
Yeah, I'll be honest. That scene came up in that theater and I buried my head in my hands. I was screaming. The people in front of me looked. I said, "Don't just look towards the screen like you don't understand this character." I felt like I've lived through it with him for what is it, 15, 20 years? I mean, it's
More
like, yeah, how
96,
so
96. When the last one come out? 2022.
yeah,
26 years.
26 years, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like mm,
It was thing. I remember sitting there like myself and Ted, one of the other guys that comes on. We went to it to see it the first day because I was like, not being ruined for me, not happening. I sat in the cinema, and when we got to the hospital scene, I was just kind of like, oh no.
yeah. Could you
Uh,
feel it coming? I could feel it
yeah,
because I'm like, don't go back. No, you're doing everything that you taught us not to do. Like, don't go back. Just get in the elevator.
yeah. You could see it coming, and the build was there, and you're like, and then it gave you that whole double take, and I was kind of like, oh no.
I know. Oh,
Yeah, but he even gave us the one last one liner and stuff.
he
I was
did.
like, yeah, I
It's
was
an
like, yeah.
honor. It is an honor.
I mean, like he's such a good actor. Like he's so underrated. And a lot of his movies, he played those kind of cheesy roles. Obviously, he done Eight-Legged Freaks and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it was just a fun character. Mm,
He brought a lot of heart to that franchise. And
yeah.
I've never really like dove into this. They say, Nev, yeah, Sydney had a lot to do with it, but Dewey, that character is, I feel like the heart and soul of that
He was
franchise.
he was the glue that knitted everything together.
Yeah, everything
Because
was, yeah,
it, if
exactly.
you look at it, Gail and Sydney never got on,
Mm-mm.
but the link between them was Dewey.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And he
Yeah,
saves them, and he comes back, and he's there, and he gets stabbed, and he gets stabbed again, and you're like, Jesus.
he's been through so
Um,
much.
but no, I just it's like Ted. To be fair to him, has always hung his hat on that franchise, saying it was the best franchise. Uh, Ian is staunch Halloween. Carl would be Texas Chainsaw would be his favorite. Obviously,
Oh,
I'd be Nightmare on Elm Street, but I think by and large, Scream's probably the strongest.
for sure.
There's not really a bad entry in it. Okay, three might be the weakest, but
I
it's still a good entry.
It is. I well, there's a lot of production stuff that happened with three that I mean
Yeah,
people can research, the Columbine shooting and stuff. So they really had to,
tread lightly.
yeah, yeah. It was just the times, but
It was unfortunate that outside intervene or outside issues happened,
yeah.
but like it's not a bad entry. It's
Mm.
just the weaker of the five that we've had so far.
Oh, for sure.
Um, where if you look at Texas Chainsaw, Jesus, everything bar bar 74 and 2003 and maybe two are horrendous. Now, don't get me wrong, the 3D one's a bit of fun, but it's a terrible movie. Um, Leatherface was meh. Um, the beginning was okay with Stephen Dorff, but meh. Halloween, as I said, I've already expressed my feelings to people. Everyone knows about that.
I have
And
to ask you, did you like Halloween 2 from the 80s? See, I loved Halloween 2, and I know that's a whole thing within the Halloween franchise.
so I did and I didn't, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
for me, as I said, I didn't really like the franchise. I loved 78 because obviously it's 78 and it's just phenomenal. And I've seen them all, but I never really liked. So I'd only ever watch 78 and I'd watch three. But then again, I know three is Halloween, but I don't actually count it in that franchise really.
yeah.
And then it took me till 2021 to watch the 2018 one. The lads were pestering me and pestering me to do it. So I watched it and then I went to see ends or kills and then ends, and I loved that timeline. But Halloween 2 in the hospital and stuff was very, very good. It had a different feel to it. It tried to reinvent itself,
Yeah,
and there was some really cool deaths in it and stuff. But yeah, it was okay. Like, and there's a hot take. I didn't really mind Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
really. Okay.
Hmm. Didn't like the first one. The first one was horrendous.
Yeah, I didn't either. I
Two was okay though. I think he redeemed himself a little bit with two, but all in all, he shouldn't be allowed near a reboot of any franchise ever.
no.
I mean, I sat and watched the monsters, and I might as well have carved my fucking eyes out.
Oh gosh. That's the
Oh, it
way to
was
put
so
it.
bad, and he needs to stop casting his wife. For the love of God, mate. That might be your wife, but by God, she's a terrible actress. And I'm sorry if this, somehow that they're watching this.
You're right.
I'll tell you to your face, your wife's a terrible actress.
That's funny.
She was great as Baby in the Firefly trilogy, but that's it. Shouldn't have ever been cast again. Uh,
Yeah.
but
I haven't seen a lot of her. I think I know her from Halloween, and I think was it The Devil's Rejects? Is that what it
yeah,
was?
she played Baby in the Firefly trilogy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses,
Oh,
Devil's
yep, that
Rejects,
one.
and then Tree from Hell.
Gotcha.
So Rob Zombie's original stuff isn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, I like his grungy feel, but it didn't go with Halloween. Halloween is very suburban, and it did not mix. I was like, no.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same with that 2013 reboot of Friday the 13th. Just did not work at all,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But as I says, like I hung my hat on Nightmare on Elm Street, and that has some of the worst entries. Like Freddy 2 is horrendous. Like for me, apart from the 2010 remake, that's by far and away the worst in the franchise.
Gotcha.
That and then the one Freddy's Dead where they have the baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Freddy's Nightmare, whatever. New Nightmare was fucking brilliant though from Craven.
Oh yeah, I love New Nightmare. I usually go from Nightmare 1 to that one right away.
Yeah, and then obviously we have Tree, which is brilliant.
Yeah, are they remaking that or reboot? Someone said I don't that was a long time ago maybe. I know they said they were going to try to do Nightmare 3 again, but as the first one or something along those lines.
I mean, I could see that. I could see that. Now, Ted, who we have on the show quite regularly, he has a brilliant idea for Nightmare on Elm Street. He says if you were rebooting that now, you'd reboot Freddy in VR
That's
as the
interesting.
way to go, which would be a really good take on it.
Yeah, it would.
And
Huh.
we've obviously seen Freddy arrive in VR when Spielberg made Ready Player One.
Yeah, yeah. What other it was Chucky was in that too, wasn't he? Ready
Chucky
Player
was in
One.
it. Jason was in it.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. And then obviously then the news broke there a little while ago that Sean Cunningham is going to remake Friday the 13th. Having, I think he's reacquired the rights to Friday,
Yeah. There's a
and he's
movie and
reacquired the
TV
rights.
show?
The TV show is coming out. Yeah, that's Crystal Lake. That's done by Peacock, I think.
Yeah. And A24. Mhm.
A24 done it, did he?
I want to say yes, and Kevin Williamson's name was thrown in there. I don't know. There was an article said A24, Kevin Williamson. Don't know what that
I mean,
means.
we cannot confirm nor deny this, but we're
No, no,
going
do
with it.
not.
Fuck it. And then obviously they're going to remake House.
Oh yeah.
Now, House is one that I've always maintained, and it's a name that's came up on this show quite a lot because I used to go and rent DVDs, and we always used to talk about the artwork on DVD boxes and video boxes. And House was the first one that I really remember, where it was the black cover and the hand pushing the doorbell.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but that's just horror in general, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, and like for you, you obviously are a horror fan, saying that
Oh,
that was the reason that you went up. So before we get into your movie, which I've spoke about to about a million people at this stage, tell me some of your favorite horrors. Obviously, Scream being one of them.
Scream, Halloween, um, Nightmare on Elm Street, and then I do like a good Friday the 13th. Like during the summer, I usually binge watch them. I know they're kind of just, but they're just iconic. You don't need to think very much. They're just iconic to me.
I suppose
Uh,
when you look at it that way, it is. I find Friday the 13th probably the most boring,
yeah.
um, because they're all the same, really, bar the first one, which, as far back as I can remember, absolutely terrified me, but not for any other reason other than Kevin Bacon's death scene with the arrow through the bed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I used to always sleep on my side then, and I've been like, nope.
I know. I'm always scared the hand's gonna come up and grab my forehead. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh well, I'm done.
yeah. But that's it. Like, other than that, like I couldn't, apart from Jason X, I don't think I could distinguish between any of them, like any of
Wow.
the kills. Because everyone obviously remembers Jason X for the liquid nitrogen.
Oh yeah, the smash of the
Yeah,
head. That was
yeah.
classic.
I think I might have actually been Jason 4, where he puts the girl in the sleeping bag and starts whacking her off the tree.
Yes. Oh,
That one,
that one.
yeah. Or the girl in the car where she's doing the cocaine.
Oh
There's
yeah.
just a couple that stick around, but other than that, there's not many I can really remember. But like, go ahead. So what else have we got? So all the
Um,
classics.
all the classics, and then I really like. I might get, people are like, really? I love the remake of Black Christmas by Blumhouse.
Ugh.
I know. I don't know why. The first time I saw it, I was like, what was that? But I find myself watching it more and more.
Now,
I don't know.
are you talking about the '06 one or the 19 one?
No, the 2019.
Oh no. Oh no.
No, okay. I know. That's
No.
why I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to say
I
anything.
mean,
That's kind of like
I
my,
I can see, I can never really slag anybody on terms of what horrors they like, because some of the ones that I like are really out there. So go on, throw me a couple that are sort of out there for you, apart from Black Christmas, which I'm not getting into because I might get kicked off YouTube again.
you're fine. I know that's why I didn't want to bring that up. I don't tread too much into like out there stuff because if it's too avant-garde, I just can't get into it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'm sure there's some I've seen that I.
I've broken you now.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I like the Prowler, but it's still in the slasher genre. We're getting back
Yeah,
into classics. The
well, no,
Prowler,
because like more so rather than the sort of big six names that everyone throws out. Obviously, shoot me a couple. They don't have to be like out there, out there.
no, you're good. The Burning, I really liked. The Burning, it was pretty cool.
It's a long time since I've seen that. A long, long time.
And then is it? Curtains? That's another cool one.
Can't say I've even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's from the 80s. I think you can view it free on YouTube. I just found I think during my summer break last year I found a bunch of 80s which kind of went with Mutilator. That's kind of why I watched them all just to get the theme. But I went through and just watched a bunch, but I believe it's called Curtains. It was different. It was cool.
I'll check that one out. I'll put it on the list. Now, within
Yeah.
saying that, I might start watching it going, nah, I've seen this.
You probably
Yeah.
have.
Go on, give me a couple more and we'll see it and then we'll get into it.
Um Honestly, I think that's all that are out there that I've seen that are different from the list. Final Exam. Okay, Final Exam. That's the last one.
I haven't seen that one either.
No, it's another 80s one, free on YouTube as well. So
Normally, I've seen quite a lot of the 80s ones, but there were so many. They churned out so many.
it was
Now,
so
within
quick.
saying that, I might have seen them, but they could be called something else over here.
That's true. That's true.
Now, I'm gonna have to send this on to Buddy Cooper, the fact that you didn't put the mutilator in there.
Oh no, why didn't the Mutilator? No, I should
So
have. Oh my
now
God.
I'm going to end this episode.
You're done. You're
Yeah,
done.
it's over.
It's over.
And there was Ruth Martinez singing your praises,
I
telling me
know,
that I should
Ruth.
get you on. She's gonna be so sad when I tell her.
I know. She is a sweetheart. I love Ruth.
Yeah, yeah. The amount of times your name came up from some of the cast that we've had on.
Oh,
You know,
really?
he's great. He's this. He's that. And then you don't even
Oh.
pick the goddamn movie.
I know. Oh, I gotta do this too. They got ma Listen, I'm a brunette, but I should have been a blonde. I have to show the hat, the Mutilator 2 hat. Do you have yours?
I have I have one. I think the kids might have took it though.
They took it.
Yeah, because I normally leave it beside the computer. Yep, they must have moved it.
You're good. Just have to show this baby off for a minute.
Little fuckers. Oh, yep, they've moved it.
They took it.
Yeah, Buddy was Buddy was kind enough to. Sorry, I don't know whether I lost signal there.
No, you're good. I got you.
Yeah. Buddy was sound enough and nice enough to send me a hat,
Oh,
one of the cast and crew hat. It's I love it.
it's
Can't believe
awesome.
they've moved it.
Now you're gonna get that hat after we're done. We're like, give it back.
Yeah, well, no, I'd say it's somewhere in the kitchen or something.
Oh, gotcha.
Normally I was where I have it, the new setup for the the podcast. I have it moved into the sitting room, and I normally have it sitting down beside the table, little table here.
Cool. Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I love my Mutilator 2 hat
It's awesome. It's just so iconic.
because what first happened was Anna was the first guest that we had on,
Oh, yep.
and she had one, and I was like, I want one. And she was like, well, I'm not sure I can get you one. I was like, I want one. I was like, I will get one somehow. So I eventually started running through the cast list, and then Buddy picked up on the show, and I had him on, and he was like, I'm gonna send you something. I was like, yes,
You're like, yes, heck yeah.
now I have one.
That's awesome. Honestly, that's the first thing they gave me when I got off the plane and they took me to set. They gave me all the, they're like, here's this, here's sunglasses, here's a poster, like welcome. It was so cool how they introduced you on set. It was just so
A little
iconic.
welcome pack.
Yeah, it was like a PR welcome package. I was like, this is awesome. I'm like, yes.
So what have you got left for it? Because I need you to pack it up in a little brown box and send it back to Buddy with an apology note.
I know, I gotta send it all back. They're gonna delete my scenes.
That's
Eric
it.
six.
Over.
Oh,
But yeah, like the Mutilator one is just brilliant.
Oh, oh yeah. Just when I saw I guess we can jump in how I got cast. It was a post on Backstage and I saw Mutilator 2 and I was like, is this a fan film? No. I'm like, no, there's no way. And then, I rewatched the first one again just to get refreshed. I'm like, I have to apply to this movie. This has to be, Buddy Cooper. And so I applied and didn't hear anything for a month. And about a month later, I get an email from the Buddy Cooper, and he's like, "Hey, Eric, you want to do this
You're in.
role?" Yeah, I mean, it was no audition. I'm fairly new, and I was like, "Are you sure you don't want you? This is just an offer?" He's like, "Yeah, we want you." I said, "Okay."
I'm in. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was like, "Yes, like whatever you need, like I'll be there. I'm coming." I'm like, "I'll be there."
Yeah. Funny enough, like I said that when we were talking to Eva, she said it. She was like, I got the script and then she had to send it to a manager and whatever. But she's like, I was in. It was happening.
Oh, yeah.
But it was actually Eva that got me onto the Mutilator too. I seen her post on Instagram a while back,
Oh yeah.
and I had to be like, I was like, so I'd be a huge fan of the original one. I'd have it inside my top five in horror.
That's awesome.
Well, so it varies. It'll be inside top five. It'll be inside top 10, depending on how I'm feeling or what I'm in, what kind of mood I'm in. But it hasn't been outside the top 10. Like I've seen it easily 150 times.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But
It,
like when
it
she
is.
put it up, and it was like Mutilator 2, and I was like, no, no. I was like, how, why, when?
Where, when,
Yeah.
like, let's go. Like, we're ready.
I was like, so I wrote underneath it. And she's like, yeah, oh yeah, it's a second part, and I was like, my God.
I
And
know.
and then obviously from there I got my way through the cast. I picked my way through the cast, and I got to sit down. It was great for me. Like I got to sit down with Buddy this year. Um, I got to sit down with Ruth Martinez, and Bill Hitchcock as well.
Still, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so it's been great. And then obviously made other friends along the way with the new cast.
Yeah. That marriage of the new and the original cast, Ruth and Bill, like I could listen to their stories for hours. I At one time I think we wrapped early and everybody was just kind of out doing their own thing, and the pier that you see in the trailer, it was an actual pier and you could go out and fish and everything. So the cast would kind of wander out there and just watch the ocean and stuff. And I bet I sat there for an hour just asking Bill and Ruth all these questions and just, what's your experience? What was it like? Did you know it was going to be an iconic movie? And they're like, no, they're just so nonchalant and the sweetest
Yeah,
people. And it was
I
just so
found that.
cool. Yeah.
Mm, like I for me growing up, like Ruth was always one of those people. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a mini childhood crush. Well, not even childhood. It was like 12 or 13 when I watched the movie. I was
Awesome.
like, yeah. And then I got to sit down with her, and she was just so nice and whatnot. I was like, damn. I was kind of hoping she'd be an arsehole or something along the way. I was like,
I know
um,
you think that, but I mean, you just get with them, and I mean, you just we all felt like a family. And I know that sounds cliche, but it was like an actual summer camp. We were all a family. We all got along. It was such a cool experience. I don't know if I'll ever have that again, honestly.
but like the one that really told us one of the better stories, not even the better stories, one of the funnier stories, was our resident superstar Carl Grasso.
Oh God.
And
He,
he was saying that they were out sitting on the thing and watching movies at night and stuff.
yep.
And he's saying sitting watching Young Frankenstein with Terry Kaiser and stuff. And I was like,
See,
that's the life.
I missed that part. I did not come in until I think there was their last 2 weeks of shooting. So I was coming in, and I guess I should have brought that up, getting to know everybody. I was like, when there's a TV show and it's like 8 seasons and that one character just pops in. Like I was that guy. Like I was like, hey, all these relationships are established, and I'm like just walking on my first date. I'm like, this is awkward. But
So you're
they
you're the one that no one liked.
right. They're like, who is what? They're hey, where's his scenes? Yeah, it was like what? And then I mean, within a day, I was right in the
In
mix with them all.
in the words of the great Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy?
That's what they were like. They were like, "We've seen your picture, but we just didn't think you were coming." I'm like, "No, I'm here."
What they should have done was stuck your picture on like a mannequin and just brought you around.
Yeah, it just brought me around. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, like as it says off camera as well, a lot of them spoke really highly of you and how nice you were to deal with and stuff.
that truly means so
Uh,
much. They took me under their wing. It was it was really cool as a young actor. It really was.
Yeah, and then Eva was really high and talking about you.
That was my set buddy. That we
That's
were,
exactly what she said.
yep, we were set buddies. We well, the rest of the cast left like the last couple days, and it was just there were a couple other cast members, but me and Eva, we would have kind of like in the makeup room, we would be there because her scene would shoot before mine or whatever. And we would just get to talk. I said during shooting, I said, you know what? We are like the same person, just you're female and I'm male. Like our mentalities are kind of the exact same when it comes to
Did,
production stuff
did
and
you
personal
did
things.
you just assume her gender? You can't do that these
Oh,
days.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Now, now we're gonna get politically
Oh,
incorrect and get
shoot.
cancelled on this.
Yeah.
Mm.
She agreed though.
I
That
don't
was,
doubt that.
yeah. Yeah. She's awesome.
I wouldn't be one of those type of people now, to be honest. But yeah, no, she spoke really highly and how good friends he's became quite quickly as well.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, from listening to every different person, from Buddy to Cheney Morrow to Anna, everyone was just so close. Sorry, and Dan, Big Dan, love Dan.
Dan. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was a family. I mean, we will I think we will all in a way, you know how Jamie Lee Curtis talks about Halloween. I think
yeah,
that's what this will be to us. Like we will always have Mutilator 2 and have our hats and everything and wear it with pride, and we will say that is our original family.
yeah. And it'd be nice now, maybe in a couple of years or even the end of this year when it comes out, if it comes out this year,
Yeah,
which
I
which
hope
I'm still trying to figure out. Someone has to give me a date somewhere,
I'm how did they all phrase it? I know when you know. I truly do. I know when you guys know, which is cool
or
because I,
or what I
I
got told was because I've interviewed so many people now. If I find out first, I have to tell other people.
oh shoot.
Yeah,
Yes, yes.
but
Yeah.
for me, like everyone, I know nobody knows because it's still with the distributors and Buddy doing the best he can for it. And for me, it's great to see they didn't want to just go with this one because they offered this amount. He wants the best for the movie, for the actors, because it's obviously his baby.
Yes, and you truly felt that on set. Buddy was so emotionally attached. I found myself behind the monitors when I was not filming, watching him just honed in and just it was his baby. And I'm so glad, you know, I was there to watch that firsthand, to watch a true artist take something he was so attached to and create it before my eyes. It was so beautiful. It was so poetic. Like just yeah, it was cool.
I mean, you're talking 30, like you wrapped sort of end of last year,
Hmm.
so you're talking 38 years between the original, not even 39 years because they filmed in 83.
Right.
Um, well, so Rudy told me, and I was gonna be thinking, be like, yeah, I wasn't even born. I was still another 7 years away from being born at that stage, but I held back on that one. But so you're talking about say 40 years between the original and this one. So for Buddy to come back and reinvent this movie, because obviously Mutilator one, right from the get go, you know who the killer is,
Yeah.
and obviously having Jack as Big Ed was brilliant, and he was vicious.
Oh, there was no remorse.
Yeah, like I spoke to a few people, not even just on Mutilator cast about it, and obviously over the last year or so, we've had Terrifier. So sorry, the last 6 years, Terrifier one came out in 16.
Mhm.
We had the infamous hacksaw scene,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Terrifier?
I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. I've seen like edits and things of the kill scenes.
So obviously that was the big one because it was an indie horror.
Hmm.
Um, that was extreme. And then Terrifier 2 came out obviously last year with great success, and it has another one of those scenes. Um,
Gruesome.
you've seen 2, have you?
Yeah, I've seen the full thing in two. Yes, I did sit down and watch that one.
Everybody just know when you go Terrifier 1, you say that scene, people know it. You
Yep.
go Terrifier 2 and you say that scene.
Yep. You know. It's wild.
I liken those two scenes to Mutilator, obviously with Connie's death scene in Mutilator with the gaff hook.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rough, and
Yeah, I mean,
especially for a film in 1984 to do that with prosthetics, it was just brilliant.
yeah, it definitely still holds up till today. I rewatched it right before we filmed and I was like, this is still, I mean, this is just so iconic. You could feel it. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Even to the point where where the cop gets killed
Yes,
and he
yes.
takes the piece of wood through the cheek, and you're like, Jesus Christ.
It was not messing around.
Mm, mm. I mean, Big Ed was Big Ed, but god damn.
Yeah.
um, but like now to reinvent, and what I heard from obviously a lot of the cast, they won't. I don't want to be told anything really.
Right.
I know people get killed,
Yep.
obviously because it is what it is. But it's more of a meta horror now.
It is. Yes. I'm not going to touch it because I'm not sure. I
No,
don't
I don't.
want Jeff to have my head. So I will just say it's very meta. You'll
Yeah.
be on the edge of your seat. Done.
Now I know I've been told it's more like a who done it
Oh, cool. Okay. So
to an
yes.
extent. Yeah, yeah, that's I've heard that from a few different people. Um, it's closer to a who done it kind of way. Um, which aren't really my kind of movies, but I can get behind them. Obviously, Scream is a who done it kind
Hmm.
of way, and there's a few others that I've watched that are like that. But for me now, this is going to be one I'll sit and I'll watch it and I'll sit and I'll watch it over and over again. Well, I say that, but
It has a good balance. I think original fans of Mutilator and will really appreciate it, and then it'll also bring in new meta fans. There's a good balance. That's what I'll say. Being on set and reading the script and stuff, it has a great balance.
I mean, I'd say I was probably one of the first people that watched the trailer,
Cool.
because I actually it came out in the middle of the night here for us,
Oh, okay.
obviously because of the time difference to the states. But I set an alarm, knew it was coming out at a certain time, so I set an alarm, woke up to watch the trailer, and then went straight back to sleep, and then woke up and watched it twice more the next morning, and I nearly woke the wife up, like she was asleep, and I was watching it. So I put earphones in, and the scene where they're on the dock or on the boardwalk, and Art the clown is there.
Yes.
I was like, what the fuck? Because
Yeah.
I wrote to, who did I write to? I can't remember who I wrote to, and I was like, is that Art the clown in Mutilator trailer? And they were like, maybe. And I was like, there's no maybe about it. That is or there isn't.
It may or may not. We are sworn to secrecy on this film. I will say that.
Well,
I
that's not a secret because it's in
No,
the
well,
ad.
I mean, it's there, yeah, yeah. But they were even like, I don't know. That's your interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I also know who played Art in the ad, but I'm
Oh,
not gonna put
cool.
that out there because I don't know if that's actually
Yeah.
known knowledge. But I know who it is, and I was like, "What the absolute fuck?" Because then that's when I started questioning as to what kind of movie it was. I was like, "What the fuck is Art doing in this?" And then I was like, Is it David Howard Thornton, who is obviously the big thing in horror at the minute? And then it obviously isn't.
Right.
No, no, but you can see that by the IMDb page, so that's not a spoiler.
No, not at all.
Um, now that would have been pretty fucking cool, and put it into the world of Damien Leone's world of Terrifier and stuff.
Yeah, it's
But I like what they're going for with this in the ads showing. I was like, well, here we go. And now obviously we're seeing it again now with the new Scream,
yep.
doing the same kind of thing because obviously the trailer drop for Scream has Freddy Krueger in it. It has Jason standing on the train. It has, I think it's a Michael Myers mask.
I think so. And then it had the, well, of course, the girl from Ready or Not, which I mean, it would her
Yes,
dress.
Marrow even, yeah.
Yeah,
And I might be wrong, but it looks as if there's a pinhead mask sitting further down.
I think you're right.
No, I'd have to actually sit and watch and get a clear picture of it. But when I seen the ad for it first, I was like, oh look, here we go. And then
That's true.
obviously you have about 400 Ghostface masks because it was the most. I'd say that's the most bought mask ever.
Oh yeah, every Halloween here it's just
Yeah,
Ghostface everywhere,
yeah.
everywhere.
But for me, when I seen the ads for obviously for Mutilator 2, I was like, oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, very meta. That's all I can say. I don't want to be the Tom Holland of the horror universe, where he's just blurting out. It's like, no, I'm just like
That
gonna be
was
meta.
gas, and you could see it in his face as well when he said it in that interview. It was like,
Yeah, he's like looking around. He's like, where's my producers and am I fired?
oh, I'm so fired for this. I mean, they can't exactly fire you now. I mean, I
No,
might
that's
fly to America and actually kill you if you ruined it for me.
right, right.
So I'm not sure what's worse.
I know. It's yeah. As an actor, you got to tread lightly, especially when it's films like this. You just got to keep your mouth shut.
It's gotta happen soon. And for me, like it's gotta be worse because it's gotta drop in the States and it mightn't come to me for a long time.
Oh, that's true. Stay off the internet. Stay off the internet.
Yeah, no, I can't do that either.
That's
If I
true.
stay,
Ah,
if I
shoot.
stay off if I stay off the internet, I don't get guests. And if I don't get guests, well, I mean I can do the show
Pressure.
without guests, but sometimes it's just fun having guests.
That's
And
true.
I really don't want to have to illegally stream it. Sorry, you're not allowed to illegally stream it.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Especially the fact that I've actually had to sit down with people and I don't want to take away from like I wouldn't say it's indie horror, but it's not mainstream horror either.
Right.
So it's kind of in that sweet spot in between where everyone that buys it, everyone that rents it, everyone that goes to see it are helping everybody that's in it. Do you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know what way it works over there in terms of pay, whether you get paid by the people that view it or you've been paid a set amount, whatever. But you can understand where like people can sit and illegally stream things and like if you illegally stream Avatar, right?
Yep.
It's not gonna kill James Cameron.
No, he's
Do you know what I mean?
made his money. Right. Right. Yeah. Because we're in that middle spot that it's
Uh,
like, well,
Where like I've had indie directors on and I've had like people that have had budgets of 5, 10 grand for films, and if you started illegally streaming those movies, and like you're taking away from them, like don't get me wrong, I'm not condoning illegal streaming of movies. YouTube don't kick me off. um, but you can see what I mean. Like the gap distance between it coming out in the States and to me could be 6 months, could be a year.
that's true. Yeah, the
Like
distribution.
yeah, like we had Stephen Lamart, Crystal Crystal Martin, and Tatiana Bluchel, who were three integral parts: the director, the main actress, and the effects for the main one on. And I had them on, and I've been told now that that won't be coming out till Christmas this year,
Oh, wow.
ish, hopefully. So you
Wow.
know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
the whole
and I don't want to sit and try and find a stream of it. I'm like, no, I'll wait.
right.
But if I have to wait that long for the mutilator, some guest that I have on could be like, oh yeah, this happens in it, and I'll be like,
Click.
I will end your life.
I will end. Never a guest again. Don't do it.
I'll end it. What I'll do, I'll start putting shit out that you didn't even say. I will bury you.
I will bury you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
So
awesome after it
everybody
really.
watching this that is going to be a future guest, do not, no spoilers of Mutilator 2 because it'll be over. It's done.
The G man is very very easy,
Yes.
and once I'm gone, that's it. I just won't stop.
I won't stop. That's awesome.
But obviously you've said you've had a great time on set and whatnot.
Yeah, it'll be one of those if hopefully if my career continues, which I hope, I will always look back on
What do
this
you mean
one and
if
say,
it continues?
I
When?
hope so. When it
When?
continues, that's true. I'm really bad at that. I need to say when it
Positive
continues.
mindset. When?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will always look back at this and just smile. A big grin and yeah, it's awesome.
Even Carl, like Carl Grasso said that as well. He says, my name is attached to this. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm,
I got so emotional when as an actor, I'm sure you interview a lot of people. It's this industry is hard. You get so many no's, and sometimes in your career, the right one comes along, and it's iconic, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a family-oriented thing, and you see your name attached to it on the poster, you lose it. I shed a few tears because I just couldn't believe it. And Fangoria was doing articles, I grew up reading Fangoria. And for me to even be associated, it was very emotional for me.
So,
Very,
somebody's cutting onions in here.
yeah, I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm a very
Um,
emotional person, hence why I'm an actor. But yeah,
especially though when you look at it, right? Mutilator has such a cult following that it was
mhm.
always going to get those people, right? Like
Yes,
myself. Now, don't get me wrong, the amount of sort of horror that I watch in general, I'd have watched it anyway, even if I wasn't a fan of the first one, surely to watch something.
yeah,
Um, you'll get new fans because obviously you're saying it's meta and it's this, and then you'll find fans in the middle that have spoken to me and I've said, well, go watch this. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like like Carl hadn't seen Mutilator, my co-host hadn't seen it
Oh wow.
until I pestered him to do it. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he'll obviously we've been involved with the movie now that I'm imagining he'll watch it. They'll watch it. No, there's no doubt he'll watch it. But like, I know I'll watch it. Do you know what I mean? And then I can
Yeah.
recommend it to people. Now it could be
It's
a bit biased coming from me because of how much I love it, and I can't exactly turn around. I haven't interviewed like 10 people from the thing being like, yeah, it's shit. Don't watch it. I know. I'm pretty. To be fair, I'm pretty honest with movies. Like I've done ones with people, and I've like, did you like the movie? Not really.
right.
But
That's the beautiful thing about filmmaking. Everybody can have their opinions, and then it's just it comes with the trade. But yeah, a Mutilator
e-
2, it's gonna be
everyone can have their opinion. But
yeah,
if you say Mutilator and Mutilator 2 is bad, it's a wrong opinion.
right, absolutely. Oh yeah, because we're biased. I mean, I will say I'm like you're wrong. Get out of here.
I've been known to do that from time to time. You can have your opinion. It might be wrong, but you can have it.
Right, you can have it, but we're just gonna agree to disagree.
But we'll start to wind it down a little bit now. Um, so obviously we've had our chat beforehand, which is normally at the end for us, where we kind of just go off on it. But as it says,
Oh
that's the best thing about having no script. You just kind of see where the conversation takes you.
yeah, yeah. I like things
And
like this. It's really
yeah,
cool.
but like as it says, it's gonna be amazing. You're talking about 40 years nearly in the difference. Um, be interesting to see how Buddy adapted and how he changed to suit the times. And now having spoke to him and stuff, I'd imagine it's gonna be phenomenal.
Fans are going to love it. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to hold you to that. So if I don't like it, I
Uh-huh.
want a refund from you
Yes,
personally.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So what happens? I'll buy it, say I don't like it, get my refund from you, and then turn around and be like, no, I do like it.
Messaging Eric 6. Give me my
I want my money back.
like, all right, no problem.
You've already been paid. I want my money back.
Yep.
Uh,
That's awesome.
Um, but like as it says, you've said the cast were all lovely, and everyone had quite lovely things to say about yourself as well, and everybody else obviously. Um, Everyone seemed to be really close. And obviously I've kind of nailed my hat onto this movie for a while,
Yep.
and I'm sure Air fans are like another mutilated person. Yeah, and I'm gonna keep going, and I'll keep going, and I'll keep going. Actually, I'm not really. Pretty sure we might not have any more, but we'll see how it goes. Might try and get people back when it actually comes out and I get to see it.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah,
Reaction.
Get get loads of people on.
Yes, get us all on at once. I don't know if that'd be too chaotic.
Imagine the scenes.
Yeah.
But as I said, it's been great to have you on. And you're more than welcome back absolutely anytime.
Thank you. It
Uh,
was an honor. I appreciate you having me.
and more so like when guests come back like a second time and whatnot. The episodes, it's not that they're not fun the first time, but there's more stuff to cover. Normally the second time it's just kind of like wing it and see where it goes.
Right.
Like we pretty much winged the start of it,
Yeah.
but again, no script. No one can say you're doing something wrong. It's my
Right.
show and I don't care.
So I like
you,
this is cool.
you, you can send the complaints to me and I know where they go. So, but like yeah, as I said, absolutely anytime you want to come back on, even just to shoot the shit,
Cool.
uh, yeah, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is
you've lost a light behind you now.
I know it's going down. It's time to change this from water to something else Friday night.
Water to wine.
Yeah,
Well,
water
actually,
to wine. So
wine, no
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I'm not a huge yeah, nah.
No spirits, maybe.
Fuck
Get
yeah.
yourself get yourself some Grey Goose and ice. Couple of yeah boys. The
Heck
words of the
yeah.
great Chris Jericho.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But as I said, I extremely look forward to the movie coming out. I wish you every success with your career, if not if and when, but when it explodes. And I have no doubt that it will, coming off the back of this and whatever else is going for you. Now, do the business part here. Have you
Mhm.
anything else upcoming that you'd like to plug,
Yes, I
or that you're
have
allowed to plug?
yeah, you're good. No, I have two other films I have filmed this year. Another horror anthology series I think you will like. It's titled Fresh Hell. I don't know. They're still in the post-production processes. I filmed it during Thanksgiving, over Thanksgiving in November. So it's a three-part film with three different subgenres within the horror genre. So that's pretty cool. Look for that. And then I just wrapped a short film titled Three Quarters Dead. So that should be coming out soon. So yeah, two more
As
coming
soon
out.
as soon as they're coming out, let me know and
Uh-huh.
we'll thing. Or if you want, what you can do is send on the links to them,
Cool.
and we'll pop them over free,
Yeah, I can definitely
and
do that.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric, it's been fun. Absolutely been fun. It's been a great episode again. Um, and obviously you can find Eric on Instagram on was it? It's at Eric6.
Yeah, at Eric 6 and then the number 6.
I mean, the fact that you didn't put a third six in there
I know,
really
right?
annoys me. You
I
let that
know.
one slip, man.
I know. I know. There's so much. People are like, why didn't you do this? I'm like, I know. I know. I know. I know.
Hindsight's a great thing.
It is.
Uh,
Cool.
But this has been your on the slab for this Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna finish this the way I finish every episode. In the words of the great George A. Romero, ladies and gentlemen, stay scared.